Tobit, chapter 3. Then with much grief and anguish of heart I wept, and with groaning I began to pray. You are righteous, O Lord, and all your deeds are just. All your ways are mercy and truth. You judge the world. And now, O Lord, may you be mindful of me and look favorably upon me. Do not punish me for my sins or for my unwitting offenses or for those of my ancestors. They sinned against you and disobeyed your commandments. So you gave us over to plunder, exile, and death, to become the talk, the byword, and an object of reproach among all the nations among whom you have dispersed us. And now your many judgments are true in dealing with me according to my sins. For we have not kept your commandments and have not walked in accordance with truth before you. So now deal with me as you will. Command my spirit to be taken from me, so that I may be released from the face of the earth and become dust. For it is better for me to die than to live, because I have had to listen to undeserved insults, and great is the sorrow that attends me. Command, O Lord, that I be released from this distress. Release me to go to the place of eternity. And do not, O Lord, turn your face away from me. For it is better for me to die than to see so much distress in my life, and better not to listen to insults. On the same day, at Ecbatana in Media, it also happened that Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, was reproached by one of her father's female slaves. For she had been married to 7 husbands, and the wicked demon Asmodeus had killed each of them before they had been with her, as is customary for wives. So the female slave said to her, You are the one who kills your husbands. See, you have already been married to 7 husbands and have not borne the name of a single one of them. Why do you beat us? Because your husbands are dead? Go with them. May we never see a son or daughter of yours. Overcome with emotion at that time, she wept and went up to her father's upper room, intending to hang herself. But she thought it over and said, Let no one ever reproach my father, saying to him, You had only one beloved daughter, and she hanged herself out of distress. I would bring my father in his old age down in sorrow to Hades. It is better for me not to hang myself, but to beg the Lord that I may die, so that I will not have to listen to these reproaches for the rest of my life. At that same time, with hands outstretched toward the window, she prayed and said, Blessed are you, merciful God. Blessed is your name forever. Let all your works bless you forever. And now my face is toward you, and I have raised my eyes. Command that I be released from the earth, and not listen to such reproaches any more. You know, O Master, that I am innocent of any defilement with a man, and that I have not disgraced my name, or the name of my father in the land of my exile. I am my father's only child. He has no other child to be his heir, and he has no close relative or other kindred for whom I should keep myself as wife. Already 7 husbands of mine have died. Why should I still live? But if it is not pleasing to you, O Lord, to take my life, hear me in my disgrace. At that very moment, the prayers of both of them were heard in the glorious presence of God. So Raphael was sent to heal both of them, Tobit by removing the white films from his eyes, so that he might see God's light with his eyes, and Sarah, daughter of Raguel, by giving her in marriage to Tobias, son of Tobit, and by setting her free from the wicked demon Asmodeus. For Tobias was entitled to have her before all others who had desired to marry her. At the same time that Tobit returned from the courtyard into his house, Sarah, daughter of Raguel, came down from her upper room. Tobit, chapter 4. That same day, Tobit remembered the money that he had left in trust with Gabael at Rages in Media, and he said to himself, Now that I have asked for death, why do I not call my son Tobias and explain to him about this money before I die? Then he called his son Tobias, and when he came to him, he said, Give me a proper burial. Honor your mother, and do not abandon her all the days of her life. Do whatever pleases her, and do nothing that makes her unhappy. Remember her, my son, because she faced many dangers for you while you were in the womb. And when she dies, bury her beside me in the same grave. Be mindful of the Lord all your days, my son, and refuse to sin or to transgress his commandments. Do what is right all the days of your life, and do not walk in the ways of wrongdoing, for those who act honestly will prosper in all their activities. To all those who practice righteousness, give alms according to your circumstances, my son, and do not turn your face away from anyone who is poor. Then the face of God will not be turned away from you. Act according to what you have, my son. If you have much, give alms from it. If you have little, give alms in accordance with what you have. Do not be afraid, my son, to give alms. You will be laying up a good treasure for yourself against a day of need. For almsgiving delivers from death and keeps you from going into the darkness. Indeed, almsgiving, for all who practiced it, is an excellent offering in the presence of the Most High. Beware, my son, of every kind of sexual immorality. First of all, marry a woman from among the descendants of your ancestors. Do not marry a foreign woman who is not of your father's tribe, for we are the descendants of prophets and true-born sons of prophets. The first prophet was Abraham, then Isaac and Jacob, our ancestors of old. Remember, my son, that these all took wives from among their kindred. They were blessed in their children, and their posterity will inherit the land. So now, my son, love your kindred, and in your heart do not be so arrogant against the daughters of the members of your people as to refuse to take one of them as a wife. For in arrogance there is ruin, and great confusion, and in idleness there is loss and dire poverty, because idleness is the mother of famine. Do not keep over until the next day the wages of those who work for you, but pay them their wages the same day, and let not the pay of those among you be delayed overnight. Your pay will not be kept over if you serve God faithfully. Watch yourself, my son, in everything you do, and discipline yourself in all your conduct. And what you hate, do not do to anyone. May no evil go with you on any of your way. Give some of your food to the hungry, and some of your clothing to the naked. Give all your surplus as alms, my son, and do not let your eye begrudge your giving of alms. Pour out your food and your wine on the grave of the righteous, but do not give it to sinners. Seek advice from every wise person, and do not be disdainful, since any counsel is useful. At all times bless God, and ask him that your ways may be made straight, and that all your paths and plans may prosper. For no nation has good counsel, but the Lord himself gives it. Whom he wants to, he exalts, and whom he wants to, he casts down to Hades below. So now, my son, remember these commandments of mine, and do not let them be erased from your heart. And now, my son, let me explain to you that I left 10 talents of silver in trust with Gabael, son of Gabrias, at Rages in Media. Do not be afraid, my son, because we have become poor. You have great wealth if you fear God, and flee from every sin, and do what is good in the sight of the Lord your God. Tobit, chapter 5. Then Tobias answered his father Tobit, I will do everything that you have commanded me, father, but how can I obtain the money from him, since he does not know me, and I do not know him? What evidence am I to give him so that he will recognize and trust me and give me the money? Also, I do not know the roads to Media or how to get there. Then Tobit answered his son Tobias, He gave me his bond, and I gave him my bond. I divided his in 2. We each took 1 part, and I put 1 with the money. And now 20 years have passed since I left this money in trust. So now, my son, find yourself a trustworthy man to go with you, and we will pay him wages until you return, but get back the money from Gabael. So Tobias went out to look for a man to go with him to Media, someone who was acquainted with the way. He went out and found the angel Raphael standing in front of him, but he did not perceive that he was an angel of God. Tobias said to him, Where do you come from, young man? "From the Israelites, your kindred," he replied, "and I have come here to work." Then Tobias said to him, "Do you know the way to go to Media?" "Yes," he replied, "I have been there many times. I am acquainted with it and know all the roads. I have often traveled to Media and would stay with our kinsman Gabriel, who lives in Rages of Media. It is a journey of 2 days from Ecbatana to Rages, for it lies in a mountainous area, while Ecbatana is in the middle of the plain." Then Tobias said to him, "Wait for me, young man, until I go in and tell my father, for I do need you to travel with me, and I will pay you your wages." He replied, "All right, I will wait, but do not take too long." So Tobias went in to tell his father Tobit and said to him, "I have just found a man who is one of our own Israelite kindred." He replied, "Call the man in so that I may learn about his people and to what tribe he belongs, and whether he is trustworthy enough to go with you, my son." Then Tobias went out and called him and said, "Young man, my father is calling for you." So he went in to him, and Tobit greeted him first. He replied, "Many greetings to you." But Tobit retorted, "What is left for me to greet any more? I am a man without eyesight. I cannot see the light of heaven, but I lie in darkness like the dead who no longer see the light. Although still alive, I am among the dead. I hear people's voices, but I cannot see them." But the young man said, "Take courage, the time is near for God to heal you. Take courage." Then Tobit said to him, "My son Tobias wishes to go to Media. Can you accompany him and guide him? I will pay your wages, brother." He answered, "I can go with him, and I know all the roads. I have often gone to Media. I have crossed all its plains, and am familiar with its mountains and all of its roads." Then Tobit said to him, "Brother, of what family are you, and from what tribe? Tell me, brother." He replied, "Why do you need to know my tribe and lineage? Are you seeking an employee or a tribe and lineage?" But Tobit said, "I want to be sure, brother, whose son you are and what your name is." He replied, "I am Azariah, the son of the elder Hananiah, one of your relatives." Then Tobit said to him, "You are very welcome, brother. Do not feel bitter toward me, brother, because I wanted to be sure about your family. It turns out that you are a kinsman and of good and noble lineage. For I knew Hananiah and Nathan, the 2 sons of the elder Shemaliah, and they used to go with me to Jerusalem and worship with me there. They were not led astray. Your kindred are good people. You are of good stock. Welcome." Then he added, "I will pay you a drachma a day as wages, as well as expenses for yourself and my son. So go with my son, and I will add something to your wages." Raphael answered, "I will go with him, so do not fear. We shall leave in good health and return to you in good health, because the way is safe." So Tobit said to him, "Blessings be upon you, brother." Then he called his son and said to him, "Make preparations for the journey, my son, and set out with your brother. May God in heaven bring you safely there and return you in good health to me, and may his angel, my son, accompany you both for your safety." Before he went out to start his journey, he kissed his father and mother. Tobit then said to him, "Have a safe journey." But his mother began to weep and said to Tobit, "Why is it that you have sent my son away? Is he not the staff of our hand as he goes in and out before us? Do not heap money upon money, but let it be a ransom for our son. The life that is given to us by the Lord is enough for us." Tobit said to her, "Do not worry. Our son will leave in good health and return to us in good health. Your eyes will see him on the day when he returns to you in good health. Say no more. Do not fear for them, my sister, for a good angel will accompany him. His journey will be successful, and he will come back in good health." Tobit chapter 6. So she stopped weeping. The young man went out, and the angel went with him, and the dog came out with him and went along with them. So they both journeyed along, and when the first night overtook them, they camped by the Tigris River. Then the young man went down to wash his feet in the Tigris River, and a large fish leaped up from the water and tried to swallow the young man's foot, and he cried out. But the angel said to the young man, "Catch hold of the fish and hang on to it." So the young man grasped the fish and drew it up on the land. Then the angel said to him, "Cut open the fish and take out its gall, heart, and liver. Keep them with you, but throw away the intestines. For its gall, heart, and liver are useful as medicine." So after cutting open the fish, the young man gathered together the gall, heart, and liver. Then he roasted and ate some of the fish and kept some to be salted for the journey. The two continued on their way together until they were near Media. Then the young man questioned the angel and said to him, "Azariah, my brother, what medicinal value is there in the fish's heart and liver and in the gall?" He replied, "As for the fish's heart and liver, you must burn them to make a smoke in the presence of a man or woman afflicted by a demon or evil spirit. And every affliction will flee away and never remain with that person any longer. And as for the gall, anoint a person's eyes where white films have appeared on them. Blow upon them, upon the white films, and the eyes will be healed." When they entered Media and were already approaching Ecbatana, Raphael said to the young man, "Tobias, my brother." "Here I am," he answered. Then Raphael said to him, "We must stay this night in the home of Raguel. That man is your relative, and he has a daughter named Sarah. He has no male heir and no daughter except Sarah only, and you, as next of kin to her, have before all other men a hereditary claim on her. Also, it is right for you to inherit her father's possessions. Moreover, the young woman is intelligent, brave, and very beautiful, and her father is a good man." He continued, "You have every right to take her in marriage. So listen to me, brother. Tonight I will speak to her father about the young woman, so that we may take her to be your bride. When we return from Rages, we will celebrate her marriage. For I know that Raguel can by no means keep her from you or promise her to another man without incurring the penalty of death, according to the decree of the book of Moses. Indeed, he knows that you, rather than any other man, are entitled to marry his daughter. So now listen to me, brother, and tonight we shall speak concerning the young woman and arrange her engagement to you. And when we return from Rages, we will take her and bring her back with us to your house." Then Tobias said in answer to Raphael, "Azariah, my brother, I have heard that she already has been married to 7 husbands, and that they died in the bridal chamber. On the night when they went into her, they would die. And I have heard some say that a demon kills them. It does not harm her, but it kills anyone who desires to approach her. So now, since I am the only son my father has, I am afraid that I may die and bring my father's and mother's lives down to their graves, grieving for me, and they have no other son to bury them." But Raphael said to him, "Do you not remember your father's orders when he commanded you to take a wife from your father's house? Now listen to me, brother, and say no more about this demon. Take her. I know that this very night she will be given to you in marriage. When you enter the bridal chamber, take some of the fish's liver and heart and put them on the embers of the incense. An odor will be given off. The demon will smell it and flee and will never be seen near her any more. Now when you are about to go to bed with her, both of you must first stand up and pray, imploring the Lord of heaven that mercy and safety may be granted to you. Do not be afraid, for she has always been set apart for you. You will save her, and she will go with you. I know that you will have children by her, and they will be as brothers and sisters to you. Now say no more." When Tobias heard the words of Raphael and learned that she was his sister, related through his father's lineage, he loved her very much, and his heart was drawn to her. Tobit chapter 7. Now when they entered Ecbatana, Tobias said to him, "Azariah, my brother, take me straight to our brother Raguel." So he took him to Raguel's house, where they found him sitting beside the courtyard door. They greeted him first, and he replied, "Many greetings, my brothers. Welcome and good health." Then he brought them into his house. He said to his wife Edna, "How much this young man resembles my kinsman Tobit." Then Edna questioned them, saying, "Where are you from, my brothers?" They answered her, "We belong to the descendants of Naphtali, who are exiles in Nineveh." She said to them, "Do you know our kinsman Tobit?" And they replied, "Yes, we know him." Then she asked them, "Is he in good health?" They replied, "He is alive and in good health." And Tobias added, "He is my father." At that Raguel jumped up and kissed him and wept. He also spoke to him as follows, "Blessings on you, my son, offspring of a good and noble father. O most miserable of calamities that such an upright and beneficent man has become blind." He then embraced his kinsman Tobias and wept. His wife Edna also wept for him, and their daughter Sarah likewise wept. Then Raguel slaughtered a ram from the flock and received them very warmly. When they had bathed and washed themselves and had reclined to dine, Tobias said to Raphael, "Azariah, my brother, ask Raguel to give me my sister Sarah." But Raguel overheard it and said to the young man, "Eat and drink and be merry tonight, for no one except you, brother, has the right to marry my daughter Sarah. Likewise, I am not at liberty to give her to any other man than you, because you are my nearest relative. But let me explain to you the true situation more fully, my son. I have given her to 7 men of our kinsmen, and all died on the night when they went into her. But now, my son, eat and drink, and the Lord will act on behalf of you both." But Tobias said, "I will neither eat nor drink anything until you settle the things that pertain to me." So Raguel said, "I will do so. She is given to you in accordance with the decree in the book of Moses, and it has been decreed from heaven that she be given to you. Take your sister. From now on you are her brother, and she is your sister. She is given to you from today and forever. May the Lord of heaven, my son, guide and prosper you both this night, and grant you mercy and peace." Then Raguel summoned his daughter Sarah. When she came to him, he took her by the hand and gave her to Tobias, saying, "Take her to be your wife, in accordance with the law and decree written in the book of Moses. Take her and bring her safely to your father, and may the God of heaven let your journey go smoothly and in his peace." Then he called her mother and told her to bring writing material, and he wrote out a copy of a marriage contract, to the effect that he gave her to him as wife according to the decree of the law of Moses. Then they began to eat and drink. Raguel called his wife Edna and said to her, "Sister, get the other room ready and take her there." So she went and made the bed in the room as he had told her, and brought Sarah there. She wept for her daughter. Then, wiping away the tears, she said to her, "Take courage, my daughter. The Lord of heaven grant you joy in place of your sorrow. Take courage, my daughter." Then she went out.